Rafa Rispo of the Far From Vesuvius podcast. That's Ralph Pizarro of Calcio Napoli Club. Just rant about Napoli.
Let's go for it.
We're going to rant. We're going to match report. We're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about topics. You leave comments, and we'll read your comments out. Question.
All right. Quick stats.
Yes. Throw the stats up there. On to a nice little segment that we're going to call the Beast of the Match.
Who's beasting it for the Napoli team? Let's see.
But follow us on Facebook. Rafael Rispo, Ralph Pizarro. Twitter at Rafa Napoli 83, that's me.
CNC USA 26.
I want some feedback to the show. What do you guys want to see? What do you want to see more or less of? This is going to be a show for you guys too. I want a lot of comments.
We want to rant about something. Let us know if you want us to rant about something.
I promise you we're not going to agree on everything all the time.
We won't.
We're going to yell at each other every now and then.
Come and rant. This is what it's for. We want to give you a space to let loose so you can do it here.
Well, that's going to do it, Ralph. Were we boring enough for you?
I don't know. I think we were great.
Let's get to it.
Madonna do Carmen, aiutici tu.
Benvenuti, fellas and bellas, to the Raf and Raf rant post-match live. Napoli, Barcelona. This is not Raf Pizarro with me, though. This is Gaetano, il professore, il principale Solazzo.
Gaetano, not as good looking as Biz, not as good looking.
And maybe just as hairy as well. So Rafa Rispo here with Gaetano. We are going to basically break down the game as much as we can, break it down. I mean, I don't know how to break down something like today. I mean, and I got to say, before we even get started, Biz called it, didn't he? I mean, I had such a high hopes for this team and a European night at the Maradona, and Raf Pizarro just nailed it home when he said this team's going to lose. It's not going to be pretty. I totally shit all over that. And then he basically, with Napoli's performance, his prediction came true, Gaetano. It just wasn't our night, man. It was not great, man. Not great.
Yeah, I think he even went as far as calling the score almost exact. I think he was saying 4-1 or 5-1.
Might have.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good, man. It was, as we were talking backstage, it was probably one of the worst halves of football we've seen Napoli play in a very long time, that first half. And I'm sure you'll get into some numbers and anything like that, but very frustrating, embarrassing performance. I think from all levels, right, top to bottom. Maybe Ossi saves himself. He just hustles the whole game, but
yeah,
we can get into it.
Yeah. I just it wasn't the best first half. I mean, the second half wasn't much to write home about either. I mean, let's I guess start by going over the starting lineups. Napoli fielded the best lineup I feel like they could have in this situation. With except for Meret being in goal. I guess Meret was the designated European goalkeeper for the season, but Meret in goal, and then from left to right, Maruri, Koulibaly, Ramani, and Di Lorenzo. How much better can you get there? Defense is the best defense in Serie A. Demme. What other choice do we have there with no Lobotka and no Anguissa? We had to start Demme there with Fabian. Insigne on the left, Zielinski in the middle, Elmas on the right. No other choice. Politano in the squad, but just coming off injury, you don't want to rush him back in to start right away. Yet this is a game that we needed to win, so who knows there? And then Osimhen up front, not much more you can really do when it comes to the starting 11, right?
Well, I think what we're starting to find out is that these this depth, this so-called depth that we thought maybe we had, is not as much depth as we would have liked. A guy like Elmas, and I know how much Biz loves Elmas, and when he has to start, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and yes, we did, Ben. It kind of shows that he's just not that caliber of player. I understand he's playing out of position. I don't want to take that away from him, but you're starting a game, second leg against Barcelona. You got Elmas on the right. Demme, I thought he was going to have a good game. I actually tweeted about it before the game, and I was wrong. He wasn't great. We just don't have the depth that I think we thought we had, if that makes sense. Even Unas hasn't been good at all. Insigne's, we can get into that. I'm sure the chat would like to get into that. He's been basically a non-factor besides penalties and a few assists all year. I know people are going to talk about his work rate, and I get all that, but he has not been the Insigne that we've been used to ever since he got back from the Euros. Really, the whole year has been really disappointing for him. And I want to get in discussion with you and hopefully to chat about some mentality stuff, which I think at this point, I don't know if we can use it as an excuse anymore, but I want to get your thoughts on it. As far as this team now has been in Europe for the better part of a decade, the characters have changed, but we've been in Europe, champions of Europa League now for the last about 10 years. At what point do we stop using the excuse of, the mentality, we're not ready? I mean, these are all guys that have played in World Cups. Now these are guys that have won a couple of Euros on the team. Koulibaly coming back off of winning AFCON. I mean, these are players that are playing at a high level year in and year out. We got to stop making excuses at some point of, well, they're young or they don't have the mentality or they got to. I mean, at some point you got to just start doing it, or you're just not good enough. It's just really what it comes down to.
I agree. I mean, as far as the 11 goes, like I said, there's not much we could have done really in the situations that we were in. And you mentioned the depth and the so-called depth. And in my opinion, when you have two players out in two different positions, it's going to cause a lack of performance. And I get where you're coming from when you say the depth, so-called depth. But Demme isn't the player he was last season, or even the season before.
Nope.
In the half season before. And with Lobotka and Anguissa out, Demme, who rarely featured, he's been in and out of injury as well. And then again, like you mentioned Elmas on the right, and that's a Lozano-Politano thing. I mean, we haven't seen much from the right this season anyway, but when you put someone out of their regular position, it's not going to be as fluid in the best. And and a lot of people, and I've seen some people try to defend Mehret too. Give me a little bit. Give me something, Mehret. You know what I'm saying? Just give me some sort of effort when it comes to these shots that are taken, because it's not just the goal that was scored. It were other shots where like he just stood there flat-footed looking, where Ospina is gonna make a go for it. You know what I mean? I realize not every goal that's scored is a goalkeeper's problem or fault, but at the same time, give me something. So those three positions for me were key to our loss today, I think, and to our performance lately. That being said, we're still the best team in Serie A in 2022, so in this competition, we really don't have what it takes, that extra step to make it to the next level. We've proven that we can hang in Serie A, but at the same time, we can't really make this like every year after year, we're getting to this stage in the Europa League or the Champions League, and we're falling flat, and something's got to change. It's true, 100%. I'm going to recognize the chat a little bit right now because I've completely disregarded you all watching, and
What's up in the chat?
Yeah, what's up with the chat? I see Scala was here early as usual. He's always here early. That's good, man.
Pietro.
Scotto Di Luzio, our guest from this past Monday, is here. Forza Napoli sempre. Forza Raf and Raf. Thank you very much. Casale is here. The late night complaining always hits different. That's right. Well, dude, listen, we couldn't do this right after the matches because I think we'd fly off our rockers.
Just start breaking shit.
I mean, I even told the kids and the fiance, like, I might lose my mind on the show tonight, but I think I'm a little more mellow now at this point. So just Pasquale Napolitano says, not that I picked the time, but a little glad that I had meetings this afternoon. Spared myself from that. Yikes, it was bad. Biz is in, showing the love. What's up, Biz? A little busy tonight, so couldn't join us.
Grazie, Biz.
He says Gaetano is the most handsome. Tommy is in here too. Tommy Azzurri, Forza Gaetano.
Tommaso,
Gaetano's getting the love here. Pete Scala, hard to break down. Such shit. Yes, you're right, my friend. You're right.
Sepe greater than Meret.
Where do you see that? Hold on.
Gazerta Campania, he just posted.
Oh, let's put it up.
Ben.
Hold on.
Yeah,
There we
Ben.
go. Sepe. Hey, man. he's doing a thing in Salernitana now.
He is doing well.
Pasquale says goalkeepers are kind of like starting pitchers. Some can be great for over a decade, and some are a bust after a few good seasons. Probably true, man. Probably true.
Yeah.
Pete Scala says that the top 4 is now in jeopardy. That's a hot take, I think, man. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk a little bit about the game real quick. There's a lot of stuff on this chat that I wanna bring up, but we'll get to it in just a few. One being Vincenzo saying that Gattuso's Napoli played better against Barcelona with Messi away than today at home. No Osimhen then either. That's an interesting dynamic there because you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen, I like to touch on this for a second because I was going to bring this up. Regardless, I give Gattuso, for those of you who know me in here in the chat and on the rant, I gave Gattuso a lot of grief last year. Right? I thought he did a really poor job not getting us to top 4, and we had a lot of arguments about that. I don't want to rehash all that, but I got to be fair. As much as I was killing Gattuso, I got to, this last month or so, he has gotten every single game. He's gotten it wrong. He's gotten the approach. Listen, I don't know if it's. I told you guys this when you guys were ranting. I was in the chat last time around, and I think the team is tired, so I don't want to use it as an excuse. But the approach to the game, or to the games, I should say, the last month is not the correct one in my book. We're not fully pressing. We're not fully sitting back. I don't really know what the approach to the game is. Today we couldn't string 2 passes together coming out of the back, which is usually a strength of ours. Osimhen is the only one pressing. Zielinski looks like he's playing, half speed right now. He's got no legs. So I don't want to put it all on the coach, but I do think the approach to these games he's gotten it wrong.
At the same time, I'll go back to it. Napoli are the best team in Serie A in 2022.
Right, that's true. Joe, I think Joe posted it there, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Post points wise, results wise, we haven't lost yet in 22. Now,
Right.
knock on wood. Now I just jinxed us. But yes, Gattuso had us playing in a certain energy at a certain level. But we saw that in the beginning of the season, and I don't know if it's something with the core characters here, because when Sarri left, we had them playing Sarri ball in the beginning of the season where Ancelotti took over, and then it just kind of leveled off.
Right.
And we were so comfortably in second place that season, and it just kind of like took the rest of the season off, and then we had the debacle that was Ancelotti. But then when Gattuso came in, he turned the team around, and now that he's gone and Spalletti's in here, we started off so strong. Now you can contribute, attribute that to Spalletti too, but now that they're kind of, they're injured and it's the COVID thing and the African Cup of Nations thing and all that, it's like, what's going on? Is that, do you think that has something to do with it too? Like where a team is so used to playing one style with one manager, and then it kind of like levels off after the next manager comes in?
Well, listen, I think anytime a new manager comes in, there's a little bit of a jolt, right, to the team, to the players, because they feel like they have something to prove to the new boss. Even in mid-season, when you see lower table teams, right, when they change manager, usually they string a couple of results together just because the players have a little bit of extra that they want to give. Listen, Spalletti, I think, is a really good tactician. I said this at the beginning of the year when he was hired. I think he knows what he's doing. I just don't think he has the players, due to injuries and other reasons, fatigue, that to run the system the way he wants to run it. And I think we're just kind of caught in between right now. And I don't think it's in our DNA to sit back and wait. And I think that's what the team is doing right now, because they don't have the legs to press. And I think that's our issue. I think we're playing out of character, and the team doesn't know how to behave. That's kind of, I think, where we are.
I want to shout out some new faces in here.
Yeah, we got some new people, man.
Nick
Somebody from
Ferroni,
Germany I saw
bro, I'm
before.
at work and all I hear is my phone vibrating and seeing it say same shit. Dude, I hear you, man. I hear you. Thanks for joining us, Nick, man. I haven't seen you in here at all in the chat, so I want to say thank you also to Mauri Napoli.
Yeah, somebody from
10
Germany.
greetings from Germany. Hey, man, it's late there. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that.
Or early, depending how you look at it. Could be
Yeah, or early. Exactly. So I do want to bring something else up here. Matteo says, and I put this up before while you were talking, but he says it's not a mentality about a European failure. Serie A has been a flop in Europe for many years because of how uncompetitive the league was until last year. And then our buddy Chris Estrada comes in and responds to Matteo saying, "I mean, the league is getting better, and it is getting better." And who said it? It's somebody said, somebody on Twitter, a buddy of mine. I think it might have been Francescalcio, who said, the approach to want to get to the Champions League or to Europa League, these European places, all just to squander it in Europe the season after it's like a rinse and repeat and recycle, where like, oh, the goal is to get to the Champions League or the goal is to get to Europa League. Yes, Champions League brings the money, but Europa League brings European play and this and that. And when you get there, you suck it, and if the goal is going to be top 4 all the time, what's the point when you don't do anything in Europe? And I'm me, as positive as I always am starting to see, I'm starting to feel that emotion where, like, what's the point, man? Like, we're going to get to these competitions and lose our minds over the group stages and then get to the knockouts and just completely fall flat. Now, we're a very unlucky team when it comes to
always the
the
draws.
European
Always.
Cups. Yes, the
Always.
draws always suck. We need a little luck on our side sometimes. We don't get it. We thought we had it with Granada, but I said it too from the beginning. Never underestimate a Spanish team. We thought we had it here with Barcelona not being as good as they were at the beginning of the season, and then in the market in the winter, they buy 4 players, world class players, in Ferran Torres, in Aubameyang, and Traore, and it's just, even with their financials, it's just their issues with finances, and they still end up buying all these players. And I would love to understand how that works, but just really blows my mind. But Gaetano, we do have a late breaking development here on this show.
What do we got?
We have a guest that is decided to join. He's not really a guest; he's actually a staple of the show. But Raf Biz is in the house. There you go, Rafa.
What's going on,
Mamma
everybody?
mia, come sei bello, Biz. Mamma
What's
mia.
going on?
Alza la volume sul microfono. Just a little bit, brother.
Can you hear me now?
There we
That's
go.
it.
Can you hear me
That's
now?
it. That's
Awesome.
it.
I got the notification as I was coming out of work, and I rushed here. I was like, I gotta
there
come
you
on.
go.
So, but thank you guys for holding down the fort, man. And
course.
Gaetano, thanks again for coming in on. And
Are you kidding?
supporting.
Thank you guys for always, inviting me.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, big shout out to the chat. We got a nice
we got a
follow
very
today.
nice
Chat's vibing tonight.
Chat's
Biz,
vibing.
yeah. Let me see. Go by Dan. Did Biz and Niz. Mr. I told you so.
Yeah,
Listen,
we were giving you a lot of love.
Hey, I don't know if you were listening in, but we already said it, man. You told us so for sure.
I hate the fact that I was right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy that I'm right. I was just not quite as hopeful this time around, man. I don't know, man. After the last few games, I didn't see a Napoli. They're just a Napoli that was kind of focused or in their head. But I think overall, if you saw last time, Barcelona completely dominates the midfield. When you have your top CDMs all out, you have a Deme who has been inconsistently playing all year, as well as his form. When you have both your wingers injured, and Elmas, people are giving him a kind of a hard time, but he's not supposed to be there. He's not. He is doing everything he's staying healthy, and he's doing everything he's told. You can't expect much out of him there. Moret, yes, what's going on? Let me see a bit more confidence, but Insigne, ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
can I rant about Insigne? Can I just scream for a second here, please?
Go for it.
Okay. I understand he's like, listen, people want to talk about money and generational wealth, and he's leaving for Toronto. I understand all that. Okay. You are everybody was telling me that once the announcement was made, oh, look, now you're going to see the real Insigne again because it's not thinking about it. The contract thing he has been garbage all year. All year. I don't care what anybody says. Don't throw stats at me. We all watched the games. He has been a non-factor all season long. Okay? Nothing. He brings nothing to the table.
You saw the report cards.
He's been a distraction all year. Okay? He's done nothing positive all year, except people want to talk about goals. He always scores on penalties. Okay, he's got one goal on open play since I think last year.
Right? And I don't even remember it.
It was in Europa League, I think. I think it was in Europa League.
Right. Okay.
Yep. It was a nice goal. I'll give it to him. All right. But I'm done with this guy, bro. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
Aurelio De Laurentiis was playing chess. We were playing checkers when everybody's like, give him a contract, give him a contract. He doesn't deserve jack shit. Okay? Give the captain armband to Koulibaly. Go to Toronto with the boy your boy that dances. I don't remember his name. All right, go over there. Go make your money.
Ryan Anderson.
Go hang out and that's it. I'm done with this.
Ryan.
I can't. Yeah, Brian. Isn't his name? I'm done. I can't.
Right.
I can't.
I understand. I understand the frustration.
I'm sorry. It's very frustrating.
I do think there's a little bit of value left in him when it comes to playmaking and sort of like creating chances, but at the same time, just as many chances as he's creating lately, they've been squandered, and I just it is like for me in the first 2 or 3 games since the news came that he signed with Toronto, I saw a different mentality in him since the beginning of the season where like, oh, this guy's back, but then just as quickly as I saw it, it went away. Like it's not consistent enough for us this season. The problem is, what do you have right now to put on the left besides Lozano, who's hurt right now?
Nothing. What's we talking about that?
So we're gonna have to do something in the summer for sure. But hopefully we can like hang in there for the rest of the season. I mean, I would love. I wanted to talk about the game a little bit, but I think we should move past the game at this point.
The game was just
8th minute disaster from Insigne and the corner kick that turned into a counterattack, a brilliant counterattack. Aubameyang steals the ball, sends it up to
Jordi Alba.
What's his name? No, Jordi Alba got the goal, but Traore had the ball. Traore was the one who no, it was Aubameyang who intercepted the corner, the short corner that I can't stand.
Yeah.
And then sent it up to Traore, who was triple covered by Ramani, Koulibaly, and Deme. But
and then they leave Jordi Alba
right back. Freaking Jordi Alba gets the ball and puts it past like he's a striker. Meta 1-0.
Well, then the same thing with the third goal. Piqué looked like fucking Thierry Henry.
Piqué looked like Henry, with that goal. You can't really blame like I said, you can't really blame Meta or anyone else really for the second goal. That was just a
that was
shot. Like,
I mean, also the defense backing up way too much. I mean, can somebody?
So it was in from a goal kick or just a punt from. Or just a punt from Ter Stegen. Ramani gets the header, which effectively erases any offside. Possibility was Ramani's header. Everyone's calling offside. Ramani's head nullified that, and got it to, I believe it was Ferran who back passed it or back flicked it.
Yeah, he backheeled it.
De Jong, and De Jong's shot was just immaculate.
Yeah, Perfect shot.
And then we get the penalty, which was nice. You know what I mean? At 2-1, in the 20th minute, and the Maradona was rocking again, and I thought maybe this could be it, but there was really nothing after that. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times before our goal and after that they almost made it 3 until they actually did make it 3.
Yeah.
With como se llama, PK, Shakira's ex, right?
Yeah.
And
Is
then
the ex? They're not together anymore?
that's my dad said. I don't know.
Oh, that's an L for him. That's a big time L
That's
for
a
him.
huge L. That's a huge L. But then, we get into the second half, we make one change where Politano comes in for Deme, which I found interesting.
That pretty much does that prove that Spalletti was just thinking that Deme kind of shit the bed a little bit? And
well, I mean, it's either that or we got to, we have to go a little more attacking. We need 2 goals.
Yeah.
Mind you, let's not forget. Thank God we're at this point in time. I'm sitting with the kids and my dad, and we're like, thank God this isn't away goals anymore, because 2 more goals and we're in, And Vincenzo, as long as I have a face, Shakira will have a place to sit. Dang. I'm ashamed that I read that out.
Earmuffs.
Thanks, Vin.
There's a family show.
Hey, I trust me. World Cup final. Her and Wyclef.
Yes,
I play that all the time.
Well, after 10 o'clock, anything goes. According
Do you
to
remember that World Cup 06? It was her and Wyclef.
Oh yeah,
so great, Shakira. Anyway, and then I don't know, man. Second half, it looks like we're trying a little bit. Aubameyang gets that 4th, another one that just can't do much about. Politano finds the net finally. To make it 4-2, and I mean, that's it. I mean, after the 4th goal, really, I got up and started doing other things. It was my mom's birthday, so we're like,
Oh, auguri, la mamma.
Oh yeah, they came up. Well, here's the thing. Now, guys. I've decided I will never watch a Napoli game with my father again, because every time we do, we lose or we tie. And my dad's like, last game we watched, we won, right? No, that was the game we lost the 2-0 lead and tied Sassuolo 2-2. And I was like, that's it. I'm finished. I can't go there, and he can't come here, because
you're out, Antonio.
It always happens. So stay away from me, Dad. When you come here, make sure no Napoli games are on. That's it.
I feel like Barcelona last game bottled a lot of chances, and I was saying, and I'm like, the fact that it was a 1-1 scoreline was a damn miracle, and today proved it. I'm not surprised that. Stop watching games with your dad. Go ahead. But I'm not surprised today. I had a feeling they were going to come out strong, because they were pretty aware that. I think they were pretty aware that they needed to take the stadium, the crowd, out this game immediately. They could not let Napoli get any type of momentum and try to roll over Barcelona. And it was pretty clear. I mean, they scored first 15 minutes, something like that. 8 minutes, something like that.
8 minutes.
Barcelona knew what they were doing. They were in that locker room.
2-0 in the 13th.
Can I make a point off of that? It seems to me, and I don't want to overgeneralize this, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. In the last 4, 5, 6 years, every time we have a big occasion at the San Paulo or the Maradona, this team falls flat on its face. All right, more often than not.
Lately, but I mean, like I mentioned the other day, man, I look at big matches like this from Europe, and I think back to when we tied Barcelona 1-1. We tied Bayern Munich at in our first Champions League outing. We beat Chelsea 3-1 in the round.
But that's what I was going to get to. Those Lavezzi teams, those Hamsik teams, that were less talented, but I always felt like we had a chance because those teams played their freaking balls off.
Because they were punching above their weight in so many ways. Cavani was just becoming Cavani. He was this starlet in Palermo, and then he came to us and just ran
He
through
blew
that
up.
first season
Yeah.
and blew up, and then Hamsik was, emerging, and Lavezzi. They were really overachieving this team, and they were punching above their weight. That's why they ended up losing 4-1 at the Stamford Bridge in the second leg after Di Matteo took the team over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
The
Chelsea
Arnold goal,
and then Chelsea went on to win the Champions League that year
Yep.
as well.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think that's the only team we lost against. That's the only loss we had, if I'm correct.
No, we lost to Bayern Munich in the
group stages
stage.
at Munich.
Okay.
In Munich.
That's
But
the
we
goal
lost
that's the
3-2.
game with Fede Fernandez scored.
2 goals,
You're right.
Fede
You're
Fernandez.
right.
That's
You're
right.
But
Flacco,
losing against what would become the CL champions, to me, it's something to keep your
Well,
head
and
up
here's
high
the
about.
thing. And here's the thing. Guess who Chelsea played in the final that season? Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich, yeah.
So the
not
two
only
teams
did
that
we-
beat us with the CL
Okay,
finals. Okay.
we beat Manchester City at home. I mean, that was Manchester City's first season in the Champions League and themselves. But
And
that
we
was
tied them 1-1 at their place.
Yeah, and then 1-1 in their place in the first game, the first Champions League match.
Yep.
Cavani and then Kolarov, right?
I remember like it was yesterday on the counter.
We
Maggio
beat
assist.
Valencia. We beat Villarreal twice, a team that had
Yep.
Giuseppe Rossi on it.
Yep. Marek Hamsik on the road. I remember that goal.
Yeah, Hamsik on the road. Remember? I remember Cavani from the penalty spot and Hamsik first goal, Cavani from this penalty spot like 5
Yeah,
minutes
and
later.
remember he
Valencia
wanted to
didn't
celebrate next to the fans and the
loved
stands fell. You guys remember that?
That was in the Europa League before that though. That was a year or two before that. Yes. But that was in Spain.
That was in Spain, right? Yep.
Right. But the point what I'm trying to make here is that Napoli at the San Paolo at the Maradona on a European night should be like I heard the commentator say today one more goal when it was 4-1.
Yeah.
One more goal would equal Napoli's worst defeat at home in Europe ever. I think the last time we gave up 4 at home was against Benfica in one of these Champions League group stage matches, but we ended up winning that group. You know what I mean? And then that was the year we played Real Madrid in the every year it's something else though, man.
By the way, the year we've lost the Real Madrid, they also won the Champions League.
They also won the Champions League.
Yep. Yes.
We had the 12 points debacle the next season after the first season that we had the 12 points. And then it's just the same shit in the Europa League. In the Europa League, we get these teams that are like on fire or up and coming, and they end up beating us. We went to the semifinal that one season, and lost to Dnipro by 1 goal at the
fucking
Maradona.
Dnipro.
And it's just so Napoli to get drawn Barcelona in the playoff round of the Europa League. Like who
listen,
I feel like
Barcelona,
this team consistently gives us blue balls every year. That's what I feel like it's becoming. It's like
listen, guys, I want to play devil's advocate a little bit. I mean, here comes Barcelona, gets knocked out of Champions League, and what I don't understand this business of champion, and I understand it's how the system is and whatever, but I don't understand this business of teams getting knocked out of Champions League and having to come to Europa League. I mean, from my opinion, if you get knocked out, if you lose in a tournament, that's it. It's over for you, man. I don't know why they got to come down and start beating up on these teams. I mean, I have an idea why UEFA wants these teams to come in. They want to draw more attention to the Europa League, but I mean, look how much work we got to do only to be beat by who? Barcelona, who fucking lost in their respective tournament. And guys, yes, it's not Messi's Barcelona, but it's still Barcelona. They're still good. They still have a culture that a culture that is like ingrained into the way they play. Man, their coach was a youth product, right? Coming up. I mean, this is a team that it doesn't matter who they field. They have a really deep-rooted identity, man. And we had a Napoli with no wingers, no midfield, an absent captain on the left, a person who should never be on the right, one striker with a broken face that's probably 70% with an inflated knee. I mean, you're not going to Napoli, today's lineup is not going to beat Barcelona. See, if this was the Napoli from the beginning of the season, my opinion would have been completely different. But it wasn't, and the writing was on the wall. I mean, you can't draw a result from Cagliari. You can't bring it to Inter. I mean, Barcelona, you got lucky. I mean, the past few games we've been so out of form. The injuries, the inconsistencies. You're not going to win games against Barcelona. It doesn't matter who you are or what Barcelona you're playing. It's still Barcelona.
Yeah, you make a lot of great points, Biz.
Yeah, to back that
Your
up,
bench is almost worth as much as our team. Come on, how do you compete with that?
Well, to also to back up what you're saying about how it's a team that's ingrained to do good things, right? I mean, you saw what they were doing, the results that they were pulling out in the beginning of the season, and leading up to the end of the Champions League group stage. You know, they realized, okay, we need to get rid of this coach because he's not doing it. And we need to buy players, even though we're in debt, because we are Barcelona and we have a higher standard. They have a higher standard in their system, in their bloodline. They can't accept even losing Messi. They can't accept being any less than anyone else. So now that they have this opportunity to be in their first competition that's not a Champions League outside of outside of Champions League, that's 17 years, and the fact that they've never won the UEFA Cup / Europa League trophy is the perfect incentive for them to come out and whip ass.
Definitely.
I mean, the changes that they made at the midway point, at the January transfer market, I was telling Gaetano before you came in, Biz, incredible. You go out and buy one of the best Spanish, midfielders in Ferran Torres. You go out and get Aubameyang, who's out of favor at Arsenal and almost everywhere else, but he still can score goals. You go out and get a guy like what's the dude that just came back, older defender.
Let him come in. Let him come
playing
in.
for.
Say hi, Luca.
Hey,
supposed to be
Ciao,
sleeping,
Luca.
but he
Ciao.
refuses. Ciao.
Can Luca give us a Forza Napoli? Can Luca give us
a Napoli? You gotta go to sleep.
But we get this Barcelona who's on the rejuvenation, who's on the up, and it's just our bad luck. You know what I mean? It's our bad luck.
No, I get
there
it.
You go. Fixed it. Fixed it, Luca.
There we go. Now
thank you.
Thank God. He knows what's up.
You just came downstairs to fix my head, apparently.
Cool.
Hey, that's it.
Luca knows how to swag out. We know it.
That's right.
But guys, I wanted to bring this up also. Here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are. We're out, right? Now, everybody who out there wanted us out, who they bitched and moaned and complained on Twitter today, but I know there are people that deep down inside are like, all right, we're out of the Europa League. That's it. Well, Napoli are out of Europe, and now we focus on the Scudetto, right? Because I'll be damned if we don't win this Scudetto now that we're out of Europe and focusing only on the league. We better win this freaking Scudetto. And I'm changing my outlook on this season. Now, here and now, I'm saying it. I am changing my outlook on this season. It's no longer we need to get to Champions League. Now, it's we need to win the Scudetto.
It's a big shift for you, Rafa. Big shift.
I'm telling you right now, because before it was like, I realized that the objective the whole season, at the end of the day, we get to Champions League, that's the objective. But to be 2 points out of first place, I don't care about Inter's game in hand. I don't care about it. They win it, that's cool. They might not win it. We'll reach that bridge we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Mm-hmm. As of right now, 12 matches left. We have we're 2 points behind Milan and tied with Inter. Now, if you told me that at the beginning of the season that a quarter of the way left, or a third of the way left of the season, that we have a chance to win the Scudetto with no Europe, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. I don't think that's true. But now that we have it, we need to take it, because this team is good enough. After we were out of Europe last season, and there was a point in time, I think it was the Atalanta match away, where we lost big. We ended up going unbeaten in 16. I think we might have lost one I think it was one that we lost, the Juve game. The Juve game we had to make up, we lost. We lost one match in 16. And we were the best team in the league, bar none, at the end of that season. If we can replicate that this season, then we can win the Scudetto. The problem is, what if we don't win the Scudetto? What are we looking at here? Are we looking at, we got to the Champions League, so we're good? Like, what's the point? We need.
I think-
what do we do, guys?
I'll give you 150 million reasons why we need to reach the Scudetto, Rafa. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if we don't win the Scudetto. It'd probably be terrible if we don't finish top 4. I'll certainly say that much. But but before I go any further, I need to address something because it happened today in my Discord chat for CNC, and I wasn't happy about some of the reactions. So I don't know how you can be excited about the Scudetto after that match because this race is still tight, Pasquale. We should continue to keep hope
because
for the
also
team.
in again, and I said it here twice already, in Serie A, we are the best team in 2022 so far. It's 4 wins and 3 draws, fine, but still the best team.
Like I don't know. There was somebody who in the Discord, and I was really upset. I almost kicked him out. Calling us losers. I don't accept that. I don't accept any Napoli Don calling us losers. There's enough shit that we deal with on a daily basis from other fan bases. The last thing we need to do is implode as a fan base. Yes, we had a hard time, but it's like you have to take everything into consideration. You can't just say this was not our best lineup out there today, guys. This was not the same Napoli we saw in the beginning of the season. It wasn't even the same group of guys. I mean, like, what do you expect? And the loser mentality. Who wakes up on Napoli, even including De Laurentiis, and says, I want to lose today? Nobody. Now, we can write home all day, like what has Spalletti been doing with the team? What we have the right to question, we have the right to be critical, and we have the right to hold the team accountable. But to call ourselves losers, I don't accept that. I just don't accept that mentality, man. We struggle enough, man, and I think we should be at the very least critical, but not so demeaning towards the team, man. Because let's keep it real, despite everything that's going on, we still remain a couple points out of first place. That is something to say. All right, it's a big deal. Now, what are the odds? I don't know. What are the chances? Definitely difficult. It's definitely going to be tough. I mean, this Spalletti's got to figure it out. But Rafa, just like you said, we're out Europa League. There's no more excuses. Once the team starts getting healthy, coming back, hopefully within the next few weeks, no more excuses. Get the job done.
The problem is that we're going to be without, we'll be without the midfielders for Lazio and possibly Milan. I mean, we have a week to recover for Milan, exactly a week. But hopefully we can. Hopefully they can. I mean, and then Vin says this too. Other than Demme, Elmas, and Medet, this was the first choice Napoli. I understand that.
But hold on. But you got to think of Fabian Ruiz coming off injury, probably not at his best. So he's playing, but he's probably playing at 67%.
Gilo as well.
And
OC, same thing as Biz already said. Like, he's banged up knee, broken face. Di Lorenzo hasn't taken a game off in fucking 4 years. This guy's like, whatever.
Well, and he had to come off the last game,
right? Because the concussion, right? And I want to address one more thing, and we talked about frustration and criticism, right? I think it starts from the top. We can criticize and make a lot of good points, Biz.
Mm-hmm.
We got to think about 2 years, no Champions League, 2 years of COVID, no fans. This is a club who has a president who doesn't have all the wealth that the other teams do, right? I think we can acknowledge that. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
So you take those 2 things away, right? For 2 straight years, you take away the money you get from the fans coming to the stadium,
yeah,
right? And you take away the big Champions League cash that we're used to getting, right?
Yeah.
And he just hasn't been able to make the changes that he probably should have, right? Besides Olsi, who has his team brought in the last 2 years? Who he brought in? One Jesus.
Right. A
That's
bunch of
There's no one else.
helpers for the team.
Right. There's just been fringe players, right? And there hasn't been any difference makers, not even any like young guys that we used to, we always look at the young guy, 15, 20 million, build them up, kind of the Fabian Ruiz type of player, right? From Betis, he comes in, now we build him up. That even that hasn't been in the cards because he literally has no money. He doesn't have the money to do it. Now you can criticize him for that. You want to sell a team, that's a different conversation. But that's our reality. And we go back to talk about depth or lack of depth or players playing out of position and this so on and so forth. It's just what it is. You look at a team like Barca, and you said it, Ralph, before. You know, they're in debt and they're bringing in 4 top guys. Juventus in debt. They spend 75 million or whatever it was on Vault.
Well, they have means to back themselves up.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We don't have that. So everything has to go perfect for us to retool.
And that's why.
Right.
And that's why
Right,
it
exactly.
enrages me when people talk shit about how ADL runs the team. Like,
right. What else are you gonna do?
Even my father said today, he goes, "Oh, well, you know, he's a little stingy," but I had to bring him back down to reality too. It's like, dude, what do you expect this guy to do if if you see how Milan had a problem with whatever it was that they had financials.
Yeah.
They bowed out of the Europa League. They got themselves out of it. Man City, who knows how they weaseled themselves out of the 2-year ban, but they did. Money, you know, Juve, Barca, Real, all in trouble. Somehow nothing's going on. Chelsea did a year, you know, transfer ban, got themselves out of it. If Napoli were to go ahead and spend heavy the way these teams do and get themselves into some sort of trouble with, you know, financial fair play or in some sort of debt, we're screwed. This is going to screw us over.
That's when the fire sale comes, and that's when
I say it all the time.
Will go to England.
People don't like to hear this, but Maradona and the winning the Scudetto and all that stuff in the Maradona era was beautiful. After Maradona, we had to sell everybody. We had to sell Ferrara. We had to sell Zola. We had to sell Cannavaro. We had to sell Careca. We had to sell these teams. The team that we had, the players that we had, the good players we had, that got even less and less in quality as the years went on. We had to sell all of them just to survive, and then we were relegated. We came back quick, relegated again, and then we were bankrupt. And I believe it all stemmed from the downward slope of the Fellaino years. I'm not saying I don't wish we ever got there, because I'm proud of that era.
Right.
I love that era. That era defines us as a club. That era is why we have these jerseys. I have these jerseys behind me.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? We won. We're the third team in history. Never mind. We're the third team, and we're the third time it ever happened to win the Scudetto and the Coppa Italia in the same year. Torino and Juventus before us did it only once each, and then we did it in 87, 88, or 86, 87. Okay, I'm proud of that. But at the same time, we were this little club from southern Italy that didn't have the resources like Milan does, like Juve does, like Inter does. Like, you know, these are teams that can bounce back from these things, and we can't. Juve bounced back from Calciopoli and all these fines and all this, you know, your Serie B came right back.
Right.
Like, we can't do that, man. Like even still.
Rafa, not up until like what, 6 years more or less ago, we had to continue. We had to find, like, you know, shady
diamonds in the rings.
No, I'm saying we couldn't even watch our team.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
We couldn't even watch our team, dude. We got lucky if Rai International was broadcasting, and they only did if they were playing Milan, Inter, Juve, or something like that.
How about the first year we got back into Serie A? They couldn't even broadcast Napoli games from
TV
home.
rights.
You remember that?
TV rights, yeah,
because they were selling the TV rights individual teams.
Yeah,
remember that? And Napoli was one of the teams where you couldn't watch them on Rai at home. That season that we came back, it was the 07-08 season. There was a package that was online. It was its own website. I don't know if some of you might remember, but it was called Serie A Live, and you were able to pay, I think it was like $150, and you get the whole season on demand. It was an internet thing. It was no, you know, I'm guessing it was, you know, whoever was in charge of the media at the time and the English rights. You could buy these. So I bought it. I was like, whoa, $150. I get the whole season, and I get to watch Napoli. Awesome. Guess what? Watched every game. Watch every Napoli game away. Couldn't watch any of the home games. Couldn't watch them because they wouldn't broadcast them. Napoli played Inter at the San Paolo. We beat them 1-0 on the Zalaieta goal, if you guys remember, right? That was the day my grandmother passed away. I couldn't watch the match. I had to watch it on some shady stream, like you said, Ralph. I was watching it on like Canale 5, where they showed only the fans and Alvino commentating. Like you can't.
I remember that.
That's Napoli. That's who Napoli was.
Right.
You know, ADL built us up to this next level side. We became this team that could compete and that had worldwide.
Right.
Not people know who we are now, and oh yeah, that's the team that Maradona won with. Yeah. But now we're like Napoli. Wow, Europe in every season. Like he's reached a point where maybe he can't take us any further.
This is it.
We said it, right? Has
but
he hit his ceiling? That's $1 million question right now.
But at the
He's
same
gonna
time,
listen. There's two options. Either he gets lucky and he signs a couple of young guys that hit big, like our normal formula, and we win the Scudetto even this year. I'm still hopeful for this year, but
it's
in the
not
future,
over, man.
No, it's not overall. I completely agree. And then, or he sells the team. He's not. If we're ever gonna go into as Napoli fans, right, and be unrealistic to say, all right, this summer De Laurentiis is gonna spend $200 million and overhaul the whole team. That is never going to happen. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the financial to do that.
I'll pose a question. Maybe we don't answer it today, but I want to put it out there. I'm a little worried about what our team is going to look like next season, considering who we may lose. I mean, I know we're losing Insigne. Fabian Ruiz probably out the door. I'm curious as there's this question that comes up is like who is the wisdom, who is the leadership on the team? I guess Koulibaly can fill in that role. Hopefully he resigns. Does Mertens take a pay cut and resigns? These are big questions. What is Napoli going to look like next season, man? And how are we going to be as a squad, like as a complete squad? I'd like to go out to a couple things in the chat, guys, respond to that, and we can rant about that a little bit because there's people posing some good comments and questions. One about the doctors. Yes, I think that is the number one biggest overhaul we need to do is figure out this medical staff and make sure our players are healthy. Number one. Number two, who is it? I know Christopher Estrada was saying, I believe that they should work on small steps and focus on one competition if possible. So can they win that and have my winning mentality to win other competitions? My opinion. And it kind of goes to, I want to bring up Pasquale's response. Look, Napoli are a great club. When you look at what they have been successful, been financially solvent since coming to Serie A, but we need a trophy. I think those two kind of answer each other there. Like, we need a trophy, right? I think we need to validate what ADL did with a trophy. It's hard to keep defending ADL when we're not getting a bigger trophy. Coppa Italia was good in the beginning. I think we need a little bit more. So as far as mentality goes, yes, there has to be, I think, a better culture that needs to be created in this club. Like, a more of a winning mentality. ADL just can't keep coming out talking about fucking wages and top four. I mean, you got to put some belief into your team. And you know what? Shout out to all the players because they all came out on social media. They all came out to the journalists and said, we believe in the Scudetto. ADL needs that same energy. You got to believe in your team. All right. Yes. Good for you. You made the fucking team, financially stable. That's fine. But give some encouragement to these guys. Not when they ask for a little bit more money and then they leave. You say, well, they're going to get their pension. That attitude has got to stop. All right. Because business is great, but this is still a sport. There has to be some risk in business. There has to be some type of motivation that's coming from the president to say, let's go. And I know he's been pretty decent on Twitter saying, hey, the guys played hard, the guys played well. He's done that, but it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't just feel as real as it should be, because when the journalists ask you, what are your goals? It's balance to cut the salary. Yeah, what kind of message does that send to the mentality of the team when you're just, we're trying to cut salaries? That puts a lot of uncertainty into a player, man. It's just
Gianluca says we need a team therapist like the lady from Ted Lasso.
Gianluca. Biz, I just want to ask you a question off of that, and there's a lot of good comments in the chat. Yeah. So let's say in the press conference, they ask Adiel, what's your aspiration for this season? He says Scudetto, okay? And then they don't win the Scudetto. Then everybody's going to get on him for, you say you want to win the Scudetto, but you didn't spend enough money. When he's asked what the goal of the team is, and he says top four, that's his reality. Guys, whether we like it or not, that is our reality. Every year going into the season, as long as Adiel is the owner, our reality is that he wants to make top four. That's his goal. If he comes out and says, I want to win the Scudetto, then we all expect Scudetto money to be spent, which is not gonna. It's just not. It could happen. It could happen even this year.
I mean, listen, who doesn't come out every season saying we want to win the Scudetto? Like, I mean, everybody wants to win the Scudetto. Everybody. You'd be foolish to think that ADL doesn't want to win the Scudetto. There's these extremists out there that are like, he doesn't want to win.
I didn't say that. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I'm not even saying he has to come out and say blatantly, hey, we need to win the Scudetto. But maybe, hey, we wanna be competitive in this league. We want to make a push to be champions. We want a major trophy. We want to set a precedence. Nothing along the lines of trying to win. It's only along the lines of trying to balance books. That's what I'm getting at. Which balance, I'm cool with that. We need to be financially stable, but he doesn't give much more enthusiasm than that. And when a player asks for a little more, he shits on them publicly. I don't like that. I love deal. I've been so pro ADL. Everybody knows me. I mean, I literally fight with people about defending ADL, but he's got to change. If you want to change the mentality, it's got to start with the president. And I'm not, he doesn't have to guarantee anything, but I want him to put encouragement into the team. When your striker, who's only been here he literally just played.
He literally hit like the equivalent of a season mark.
A full season was like, I want to win. And then he goes on the field and he's the only one trying. That's what I mean. See, I can accept the loss when you're fighting. You know what I mean? I can't accept the loss when this guy, all he wants to care about or all he wants to talk about are financials, man. And I understand some of his argument. I'm not happy with what soccer has become. It became this inflated sport with these big boy clubs splashing hundreds of $millions. Like, I don't want ADL to do that necessarily. I'm like, he can't do that. But, do an Atalanta. I don't know, sell part of the club and get some backing to the team, or figure it out and sell the club if you don't feel like you can go anymore. I don't know, but it's got to start somewhere, and I think it's from the president. I also think, Vincenzo, I don't know if, guys, you want to add anything to that, because I want to get into a question here from Vincenzo, because I think it's important. It's something to say. I want to start the comment.
What I want to add really quick
Go
to
ahead.
that is,
I got to find it. Go ahead.
No, what I want to add is when you mentioned, now we might have to sell Fabian. Now we might have to sell,
well, he doesn't want to stay, so I don't think it's a choice.
Well, the point is that ADL will do what he has to do to continue to make this team competitive, whether he says it or not. The scouting that we have is probably the best in the whole league, one of the best in Europe when it comes to scouting. Because to lose a guy that's so big like Jorginho, right? And then replace him with a guy like Zielinski or whoever, Fabian or whoever, right? And then just kind of really put us right back to where we were with Jorginho competing for Europe, right? Is remarkable. I mean, we have the ability to go ahead. Look at what we found. We needed a right back, and we found Di Lorenzo, who was 24 or 23 or 24 playing at Empoli, who just came from a Serie C team before that. Like we were able to do these things. And now Di Lorenzo's a European Cup winning right back. You know what I mean? Like, we're able to do these things. And the problem is that we're not able to mix that young talent, that scouted talent, with some firepower, big time scorer. I mean, we have Osimhen, yes, but he's always injured. We have nobody to back him up, really. You know what I mean? We need somebody who's world class and have been there before.
Right.
Somebody who's going to cost a little money. I'm not trying to say we have to spend $1 gazillion on a player, but I'm trying to say we need somebody with some sort of real life experience in this field. Maybe like a Verratti, or maybe like a that name just came off the top of my head, or maybe somebody like Ferran Torres. I mean, who's young but still, is a diamond in the rough, or maybe somebody who's sort of in his mid to late 20s, who's been on these big teams. You know what I mean? Someone from Brazil, someone from someone from Chelsea, to mix in with this wonderful scout talent that we have,
Right.
because we do have it. We have it. It's just
Definitely.
we have to find. It's
That
like
balance. We got to find that
dude,
balance.
we have to
Rafa.
find a balance, but we also have to. I'm going to go ahead and say this also for probably the first time.
Right.
ADL needs to do something different, because if we don't do something different, we're going to get the same results. It's the literal definition of insanity. You got to do something a little different. Now, spending 80 million on Osimhen was different, yes, but you see that the guy has bad luck and is, I don't want to say has trouble adjusting, because he scored 13 goals in 11 matches, or 11 and 13, whatever it is. But we need a little bit more than just that. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to do something. Something does have to happen. Yes.
I have Vincenzo brought up something about sticking with Spalletti if we were to finish third and fourth, guys. I'll ask you. I'll ask I'll ask the chat, like, how much has the inconsistency of our coaching over the past few seasons hurt us? Because it seems as if Walter Mazzarri was voted the best coach for Napoli in the ADL era from Napolitani Tifosi, right? He was a guy that he had his titolissimi, right? The titolarissimi, his 11, he had a system, and this is the way they play. Napoli was able to build a consistency through that. They were able to establish an identity. They were able to get the players they needed. And even though you're talking about 11 guys, like you said, that probably weren't near the quality that we have now, but still we're able to get results, and we're still able to perform. How much of that do we not see right now? How much of that has affected us between, Ancelotti and then a mutiny, and then what's his name, Gattuso, which it's almost like Spalletti makes making Gattuso look good right now a little bit, and now with Spalletti in the second half of the season, he's just seems to be not all there, and I don't know if it's because of the injuries and all that, but how much of this is consistency? It's Spalletti's first season. I don't want to give the guy too much of a hard time. I know Nima said it. It's going to be hard to expect much with Spalletti's first season, but how much of this coaching issue is starting to really affect Napoli, our mentality, and our consistency when we play?
Do you want to go first, Gaetano?
Well, sure. Listen, changing coaches every 1 or 2 years is not it's not great, because then the players got to adjust to a new playing style, a new coaching style, so on and so forth. I don't think Spalletti's going anywhere this year. He'll be our coach next year, barring some sort of catastrophic fall from top four or whatever, or some sort of fight with ADL or something like that. But I think he's earned that much. Before you came on, Biz, I was a little bit critical of him for the last 3 to 4 matches. I don't think he's adjusted well to what's going on in the team, but there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of different context that goes into it. He's done well enough to keep the job. He now needs to solidify the system, and he needs to bring in players, or help bring in players that fit that system even better next year. Listen,
fair enough.
These systems are tough, man. They take 2 to 3 years for when we're playing quote unquote Sarri ball, which is basically Napoli ball, because he's never been able to bring it anywhere else. He had the perfect characters for his play. He knew how to play, and Jorginho pulled the strings, and Alan killing everybody, and that's how we played. We played 1-2 ball. That took a couple of years, right? Sarri's first year wasn't like that. That takes a couple of years. So he's got to be given some time. We need continuity, to Michael's point. And that's where I'm at on it. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Well, no, yeah, and the question being, if we're happy sticking with Spalletti if we finish in third or fourth, yes, because like I said, right, for me, Scudetto is the objective, but the actual objective of SSC Napoli at the beginning of this project with Spalletti is to get back to the Champions League. So, nothing under 4. You know what I mean? Like, if you bring Spalletti in, and you could probably say, okay, first season we'll go at it again, even if they finished, underneath, 4. You could probably argue, okay, well, he needs another season, but Napoli can't afford a third in a row without the Champions League. So if he does make it to the Champions League, which I mean looks like it's going to happen, I mean we still have a third of the season left to play, but it looks like it's going to happen. And yeah, we keep him. And honestly, Ralph, to your question, how much of this is coaching and comes down to like the coaching, irregularities or the coaching, issues or whatever you said. I'm starting to think that, when you put things that you guys said together, so Gaetano, you said Napoli ball, not Saudi ball, because look at what Saudi hasn't been able to replicate that anywhere else. And then, Biz, you said, is it coaching? I think it's the players. I think it's the players at this point, man. Like, it's just not happening with the players we have. And I don't mean all of them. I just mean Insigne's got to go at this point. As much as I love the guy and he's Napolitan, he's our captain, and I thank him for the things he has done for us. It's time to go. See you later. Mertens, he's got to stay because he's like the locker room leader, I feel. He's like the guy who's going to lighten the locker room up. Koulibaly's got to stay. Zielinski and Fabian could go if we get somebody else, but maybe Koulibaly stays, Zielinski stays, Mertens stays. After that, I feel like everybody's on the chopping block, and whoever does go, see you later, and we have to bring someone in, because I'm thinking that this play, this crisp Saudi ball play, is just a product of the players that we had and not the coaching. The players have adapted to that style, and they see that they're so successful with that style that they're going to use that style when they can and win games like 4-0 against Lazio or 4-0 against Udinese and Sampdoria, So I don't know, like, how can we continue to blame coaching when every coach we bring in delivers the same results? And at some point, we got to have the players held accountable.
Well, I mean, I don't want to. I'm not holding coaching, by the way. I just asking for.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
I don't think it's Spalletti.
The short answer to what I said is yes. We keep Spalletti if we finish 3 or 4, because we've done what was set out to do. He's a guy who brought Inter back to Champions League, brought Roma back to Champions League, and he's a guy who's got to bring us back to Champions League. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just tired of being in European competitions and not winning anything, even the Europa League. At this point, I'll drop down to the Conference League and win that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to win something, man. That's not the Coppa Italia.
Can I address something that Vin said a little bit earlier?
Before you do, Gaetano, Christopher, I saw your thing. What I want you to, Christopher, I'm not going to get into that now because that's such a huge topic. What I will tell you to do, Christopher, about Amazon, I did a piece with Joe Fischetti on the Forza Napoli podcast. It's an audio podcast. We spoke all about this. We spoke theory, we spoke fact, and we broke it all down. It's an hour-long episode.
I'll send it to Christopher.
Yeah, I'll send listen to that, and it will answer all your questions about Amazon. I mean, we really go into depth. I mean, it really is a whole episode for that answer. So I see it. I want to answer you, but please go to this podcast. I featured on the one of the. It's probably, you got to go down maybe like 6.
I'll send it to him.
Now.
I'll send the direct link to the pod. Chris.
Yeah.
Chris is iPhone or Android. Just let me know in the comments here. iPhone or Android. Let me know.
So, Gaetano, go ahead. I'm sorry. That's all I wanted. I don't want to feel like I'm ignoring anybody. But
no, not at all. So Vin, we're talking about systems, and Vin said we play the same system as Gattuso with almost the same players. Okay, so we play the same formation, but Spalletti doesn't want to play the same way that Gattuso wants to play, because Spalletti wants to play a much more direct brand of football that we have not been able to do because of injuries to Osimhen, because of other factors. So just because you play the same formation, that's I don't want to get too technical. It doesn't mean you're playing the same system. Right? They have a completely different way of thinking about the game. And again, I was a very harsh critic of Gattuso, and I was very fair, I thought, at the beginning of the show, where I was giving Spalletti some grief as well, because I don't think he's been good, like we said. But different systems. All right, changing coaches continuously, not a good thing, in my opinion. Petagna does belong in Serie B, even. I agree with you on that. But that's again, formation and system are two different things.
Wasn't Vincenzo? I think you were on that episode, by the way. Here, I'm going to put it back up. I think Vincenzo brought this up, and it was a great question. And I think we need to keep re-asking this question: is what happened to the wings under Spalletti? Like, I have seen certainly a dip in quality on the exterior there since Spalletti's arrival. Now, I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying I saw a bit of a dip. I mean, Insigne
plays more central. I mean, does he not play more centralized?
You want to play more central. Plus, he asked the wingers to come back a lot more than Gattuso did.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's talk. Pure what we were seeing. Like Insigne would have to keep beating a dead horse, so he's not the same player. Lozano's been hurt on and off. I still don't think he's right after his eye injury, but Politano's been not the same player. But he does like to play more central. You see a lot more 1-2 in the middle and then direct long ball to Ossie. That's the way he wants to play. He wants to intricate, real quick, 1-2 in the middle, release Ossie up top. That's how he wants to play. So the wing play is not going to be as impactful as it had been in the past.
So are we making it too Ozzy heavy then? I mean,
listen, that's why you see such a huge drop off when Petagna's in the field, because he's not that player.
Okay, but who was it that said it? Like, speaking about, I don't know if it was Dom from Napoli Talk, or but it was a question that was asked to Spalletti when it's like Osimhen is like all alone. Or was this last episode, Rafa? Man, I'm so confused. But there was a point that we had said, or somebody said that Osimhen is running and he's like all alone. There's nobody to pass the ball to. I think it was Dom, but it's kind of true. Like, we see that a whole lot.
If you look at Spalletti when he had Dzeko in Roma,
Capocannoniere.
Capocannoniere. He always asks the one forward to kind of be the reparto, to do it by himself. He always asks the one forward to just kind of that's just how he plays. I was reading a lot about, and I don't want to change the topic completely. I know we're getting long on time too, but I was reading a lot about us wanting to sign Scamacca, which would be great, but I don't know how we would play. Spalletti doesn't play with two strikers up top. He would have to change his.
I would rather Berardi.
I agree. I'm just telling you, it's just how he plays. He expects the one forward to do everything and just be isolated and get goals, and that's just how he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good for Napoli though? Is that
healthy? Yes.
Fair,
that's the factor too.
But he's getting beat up. He's getting beat. Yeah, but because he keeps getting beat up, he's all alone. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. When you have, listen, Fabian Ruiz is not a CDM. I don't think he's that great defensively, Fabian Ruiz. I mean, with all these other weapons, why is it that we're putting all our eggs in one? Why does it feel that we're putting all our eggs in one basket? Why did we take a dip in quality in our wings? Now, all right, you can cite probably Lozano had a tough injury to deal with. I'm going to give you that much. Poor guy.
A couple of tough injuries.
I mean, the guy literally almost died. Osimhen literally gets his face smashed. I mean, these are not easy things to just come back to, and you're going to be in full form. But Insigne's dip, I mean, he got his money. He got everything he needed. Is it him not being motivated anymore? He just doesn't feel a point to it. I mean, did Lozano require some micromanagement like Gattuso was kind of doing, yelling "Chucky, Chucky"? I mean, that was probably the most famous thing that we spoke about with Gattuso, is how much he was yelling "Chucky" at the side of the pitch. Did that bit of micromanagement help push Lozano? Did that? That Narga really, really allow him to play harder. I remember Politano being this clutch player. I mean, he scored today. I was happy to see Politano score. I want him to get that form back where he can pop in a winning goal or something every now and then. I want Ruiz to take more shots. I don't want to see always Osimhen running by himself, not creating anything.
But do you recognize that?
Not only that, at least.
No, do you recognize that Fabian is able to go more advanced and take those shots with an Anguissa or a Lobotka there, and with Demme there, it's very difficult.
All right.
It's a difficult.
Fair,
you know what I mean? That's just my observation, because we said this about Fabian almost all last season, and all last season it was Demme. You understand? And
Right.
and in that position, and Bakayoko. Now that it's Lobotka and Anguissa, Fabian's able to move up because they're so solid back defensively. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But when Deme is there, it's like Deme likes to go forward too, and isn't as good defensively either. And I like Deme, don't get me wrong, but
Fair enough.
when you compare to the other two guys, so for this stretch of matches, I think we don't see Fabian going more forward because of that. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, though. I do. You know,
But
I
can you
think
make
Fabian
a
should
shift?
just make his
Listen,
way
Elmas,
up to the front anyway. You know.
yeah, but listen, you take a guy like Elmas who goes all over the field. Why can't any other player play? Why can't we push back Zelensky a little bit and let Fabian Ruiz go up front a little bit more?
I don't understand why we.
Why
can't
don't
see,
Unas go to the right and Elmas?
I don't understand why we can't see Mertens
on.
on the right and Insigne on the left.
Well, right, like
Mertens doesn't have the legs to play wing. There's no way. He'll
Not
30
anymore,
minutes. He'll
maybe.
fall out.
Yeah. Mhm.
fair. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the middle with Zelensky drop back a little bit. So maybe he doesn't get a whole 90 minutes, but still.
I don't know, but then I'm seeing that Skamaka should come in this and
not
that,
right now, Christopher. Not right now. Not at this moment. Not right now. We'll see over the summertime what we get. We're gonna need some serious reinforcements.
The question about Skamaka, you know, like I know Skamaka is a young player and he's got a lot of time left on his, you know.
He's not coming here to back up.
He's not going to come here to back up. Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He won't cut. This young cocky dude is not going to come back up Osimhen. It's just not going to happen. Osimhen and Zielinski, you know, it just won't happen.
But do we put them behind each other? You know, do we put them next?
The only way he comes is if they play two up top. There's just no way.
And that's not Spalletti style, no.
That's not Spalletti style. So he either adapts or they're just a complete moot point.
Elmas does need to be in the middle of the field because we noticed, I think, when Politano came in and forced Elmas a little more central, and you saw a little bit more from him today when Politano came in. You know, yeah, I mean, not much more today because I just feel like he didn't catch his groove, but. Yeah, I mean, if we need to play Elmas a little more central when Politano's in there, you know, he's better. He's
much better there. Either central to the left. That's where Elmas is going to shine.
He's useless on the right. On the right.
Yeah, he's so uncomfortable on that right. You can tell. I mean, even Spalletti the last game was giving him so much shit afterwards, saying, "What are you doing?" But it's like, what are you like, man? I don't want to. I'm not trying to overhype Alif Elmas. I don't think he's like a superstar. I just said I think he's a good utility player for the team. He's good young talent that can cover a lot of different positions, and we really need that right now, considering all the injuries that we're suffering. True. I mean, the only one position that he hasn't played yet is like goalie. You know, it's like goaltender. It's the only thing he hasn't done yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day he gets back there. You know, but
as
you know what I mean?
As he is, as useful as he is elsewhere, it's just on the right. It's just not happening, man. He's not catching his groove on the right, man. It's just not working out for him. But there's really literally nothing we could do. What else can we do? Like you said, except for maybe put
Unas,
Zelensky on that
bust.
spot.
Unas has been a bust for a long time.
Get out of here, bro.
This is why
I'm done with Unas too.
This is why he got loaned out. I've been done with him since he got onto the team. I can tell
he tries to be too flashy, dude. He tries to be too flashy.
He's trying to be Neymar. He's like a poor man Neymar.
He's
a broke man, not even a poor man, like a dead broke man Neymar. Like fucking.
Am I right in saying he's got this Napoleon complex?
Neymar.
You could see on his like his social media, he's got the OU33 and the you know he's a superstar in his own mind. I feel, you know, he comes on and he's like trying to, you know, like he could provide a spark or two, but it's like one of those like turbo boosters for like a second and it like out, you know what I mean?
If you look at his numbers, he always did a little bit better in the Europa League. Now I don't know about Barcelona, but
he did okay.
He was the guy that I wanted him.
He did okay he did okay. Him and Elmas did okay in the Europa League stages. Yeah.
Put those guys there. Let them get their experience and their miles there and let them perform, let them do their thing. think he's sent from heaven. Meanwhile, he's sent from a 90. I'm gonna put that up. Unas thinks he's sent from heaven, says Gianluca Spinelli. Meanwhile, he was sent from a 99-cent store. Yeah,
I like this one. I like this one. Unas's Twitter is like a bad trip.
That trip, yo, you saw that?
True.
It looked like some Street Fighter fucking
it's
meme or whatever. That shit was funny. Unas overcooks. Haha, wow, Biz. Yeah, I've been done with Unas and Sadi. It's true. He never impressed me. I always thought he was a hog. I always thought he was a wannabe flashy player. But you know what? Some of these guys, they could do well in Europa, and let them go there. Give our starters a rest, and there you go. We're managing energy, man. For the past couple seasons between Gattuso now Spalletti, man, I'm not happy with the management of the energy, bro. And I say this shit all the time, and it's like I'm crazy or, oh, well, you don't know what's going on. You're not talking to no shit. I'm not talking to the players, but when I'm looking at these results and I got people screaming in my chat, I have to respond. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to let it or it goes. I did hear Anthony, but I don't want to talk about rumors right now. I really don't want to talk about the summer market yet because I don't think we should look there right now. It's always
I do like him though. I put it up because I put it up from Chris Estrada because I do like Anthony from Ajax. I mean, like, and another one, Gianluca Barami from Empoli. I've liked that kid since he scored 2 goals on us in the Coppa Italia last season.
I like anybody with the last name Barami.
Yeah, right.
I love Barami and Mazzari.
But he's a good player too, and I think we need to. I think we need to invest, man. But it's gonna be back to the same old. We're gonna readjust, reformat, retool, and it might not be a Scudetto season next year either. I mean, even if we do win the Scudetto this season, which would be great, it's highly unlikely that we repeat because it'll be some sort of a retool and repackage,
right? And you got Juve reinforcing. They're gonna adjust. Juve, come on,
right? This season it's not happening, but next season, watch out.
Watch out for Juve. Inter again gonna continue to be competitive. Milan making a lot of right choices.
There,
gonna be very competitive. If Sarri and Lazio gel a little bit, watch it. They were my dark horse this year, but they're having some trouble. But still, man.
And not for nothing, Fiorentina, they sold Vlahovic to Juve, and they're still winning games. So it's like,
right. Atalanta another one. Now got new investors coming in. They got the Boston Celtics now backing them, and
a spark in their ass too. They beat Olympiacos 3-0 on the road today. And they're another team. If they find their stride at home, watch out. You know what I mean?
We need Prozac to stay in the fight.
Nick Ferroni, thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate you. Brand new face. Was this the guy from Germany, or was this another? No, there was another guy from Germany. The other dude.
No, somebody else.
Yeah. But yes, I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you coming through. We're at an hour. We're at an hour 20 almost now, guys. But this is what happens. We set out to do half-hour shows, and we're at an hour 20, right? Biz, we talk about it all the time. Oh man, we gotta get the show shorter. It's gotta be shorter. But look, everybody's still in here talking, vibing with us. Putting their 2 cents in, and I appreciate that. I really do. Honestly, really.
Yes. Play the kids sometimes.
Well, not yet, man. We're still in the Scudetto race. Like, listen, guys, we're I don't want to say we're overreacting because we're emotional right now today because of the result, right? But I know a lot of you dudes out there that are deep down inside thrilled that we're not in the Europa League anymore. And that's okay. You can come out and say it. It's fine. I understand. I get it. You guys are happy. We don't have to deal with it. Inter still have to play Liverpool and then Derby in the Coppa Italia with Milan too. So yeah, we might not have the easiest schedule. We might not have the easiest schedule coming up, but we do have nothing else to play for besides the Scudetto. Now we can focus on it. So hopefully it happens. If it doesn't happen, I'm coming for each and every single one of you. I'm coming for all of you.
Seriously.
Trust me.
Running on a half. Yeah, it's what the show is a half an hour long, but then we need another hour to say goodbye. That's right. That's right. Neapolitan goodbye. Shot. This is a guy I don't know why we kept Patania and loaned this guy out. I wanted to see him on this roster. I thought he had a couple
other guys, man.
I thought he had a good preseason, and we loaned him out.
Zadadka, right? Who's the other guy that we have out there that we can? bring
We
back.
loaned
Possibly.
Zadaka. I think we loaned him out, right?
Yeah. What about
And
the other dude?
our young
Cremonese
dudes
guy?
are looking promising. A lot of people like give shit about our youth system, but we have a few promising young kids that can possibly come up and fill in over the next maybe 2-3 years. So keep your eye on that. Again, Joe Fischetti covers all these guys, so if you need to know, go there.
Yes.
But there's a few good-looking people out there that might, could make an impact for this team. But oh man,
Biz,
yo,
you came in, man. Thank God. That's what I was thinking of. Zerbin, Alessio Zerbin, who's on loan at Frosinone.
Yes.
I really do. Pasquale says the rant is
Love this
therapeutic.
comment.
Talks us off the ledge. Body unas. It's all good. Should be longer shows. I don't know about that, man. Principale has to get to school tomorrow. Come on. What are you talking about?
Are you midwinter break, Gaetano?
Oh, you are.
He's off. He's off.
So I'm still so tired.
Dude, I messaged you this morning thinking, oh, he's up because he's getting to school. It was like 6 a.m. or 7, I think.
Yeah,
might have been. It's like he's got to go to school, so he's good.
Nope.
No, you're on break. That's right.
Back on Monday.
That's great. You guys are brave. I don't really open till 10:30, but Gaetano always tells me don't have kids, Ralph. You're right. Gaetano, I am listening to you, sir. Yeah. But guys, we're coming to that mark, man. Hour and a half. But I had so much fun, man. I'm so happy I was able to make it, and I'm so appreciative that Gaetano joined us today. Big shout out to Gaetano. I said I would do it. He just started, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys.
It's not just me.
But, oh yes,
I know it's not just you, but you were one of the main features of that. And between Peter Scala, big shout out to Peter. But big shout out to Gaetano. They talked about it. They did it. I'm super happy to announce they have started what is called the Tri-State Napoli Club. Something to kind of unite Napoli fans in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and of course, even some of the surrounding areas. For you people out there, you're more than welcome to join in, come in.
Yep.
And I think this is a great idea, Gaetano. Maybe we can touch on that real quick before we leave, because
I mean, we're just getting off the ground, trying
to
find a spot to kind of hold some meetups for games. Got a nice little group of people already interested, about 20 people. I think it was important for us to include the tri-state because we have a bunch of people from Connecticut helping us out, New York, obviously Jersey.
Right.
So it's something I've been wanting to do for a couple of years, and having had the outlet with you guys, which I really appreciate, always having me on, and getting to know a bunch of people on through social media. I think the time was right to kind of start slow this year, and then hopefully next season kind of hit the ground running with this full schedule and some other things. Yeah, so we're really, really excited. Shout out to, like you said, to Pete, Russo, Danny, Fran, all those guys. You know who you are, Antonio. They know who they are. But it's just really exciting.
Yeah, I know you reached out to me a few weeks back to sort of help aid get some meets together. Yeah. I'm just so far away from everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like in the grand scheme of things, tri-state, the New York City, Jersey, Connecticut area. I'm just so far from that it's like, I will help you guys with whatever it is you need help with at any point in time.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will from afar, but if it means trying to get some people together to take trips down there to turn up.
Quick shout out to the Toronto boys too, Carm and them for
because Carm was a big help in that too. Yes, exactly, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you guys were able to get it off the ground. I'm happy to see what's next, and we're happy here on the Raf and Raf Rant to promote and to certainly aid and help and be there and sponsor and support and
I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, Raf, we have plans for the 6th to do something, right? It's either one thing or another. So
yes, we've been we'll talk about, there has been a discussion started. Absolutely,
we'll talk about what we can do, and if we can't do what we want to do, we'll or what we're trying to do, You know, we'll reach out to you, Gaetano, and to Pete and everybody to try to get a thing going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely good luck with that, Gaetano. Of course, here on the Rock and Rock brand, you have our full support. Personally, full support. And we certainly can't wait for the first meet to finally get together, man. Because honestly, that's the best part of all of this.
Yep.
Out of everything, it's the friends we met. It's the community that's continuing to grow. That's the best part of all this, man. So super excited about Tri-State Napoli Club. Check it out on Twitter, guys. Follow him
at try_state, right?
Right.
Yes, it's at try_Napoli Club. Yep.
Here, I'll put it
at
up.
try_Napoli Club. Got you.
Yep.
Put that up there, Rafi.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
Get him.
Hit him up.
Oh yeah.
Hit him up. But that is all the time we have for today, guys. Wonderful show again. Gaetano, thank you again so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Rafa, great show. Raf Biz, thank you for running work and getting out of here.
Raf Biz, thanks for coming in.
I had guys. I love you for coming on. I love you guys for coming on. And I gotta get on with you. This is my dudes right here.
Well, we're gonna really try,
This is the goal. This is the goal. I'm sorry, Rob. This is the goal. Pasquale, you made my night, man. We love you guys. We love the emotion. Don't get me wrong. Good. We want to make sure that
it's a way to vent. It's a way to vent. I posted on every social media I could. Come vent with us. You know what I mean? It makes you feel a little bit better. It really does. But yeah, we're gonna try for more of these post match, not right after the matches, but definitely around this time, 9:30 start night of the matches. So you can watch your Dom at Napoli Talk for right after, and then come in here for the the let out, the venting. So either a mixture of me and Biz or me and Gaetano. We'll get on for these days. So Sunday, I guess Sunday we'll do Napoli Lazio Napoli, and then Monday night the rant with the Biz and myself. Right.
Word up. Without a doubt, man. Can't wait. Looking forward to it, guys. Thanks for the rant. Thank you, guys. I want to try to get Biz when we do a Napoline. Good question.
Yeah, that's something that I'm working on right now. We'll keep
you'll know,
posted
Christopher.
for that, but it's coming. It is definitely coming. A fan meetup is definitely coming as well. So yes. Through the Tri-State Napoli Club.
Napoli Club. Check it out.
We will Chris, go follow them. I'm sure you've seen the Twitter handle or the Facebook Tri-State Napoli Club. Follow them and you can get all your news there. But yeah, I guess on to the next, right?
On
Scudetto
to the next
or bust, yeah?
Scudetto or bust, guy. Dying on that hill. But thank you again. Thank you to everybody in the chat, man. It's been such a pleasure to have everybody again. Gaetano, Rafa, great show. We'll see you next week. All right. Until then, Forza Napoli.
Ciao tutti. Forza Napoli sempre.
Ciao, ciao.